All right, let's start with the prayer. Lindalva, please.
Yes, let's pray. As well as we always do every time we start a meeting in Spiritism, we start with a prayer. As we know, we are not alone. We are always guided, firstly by our Master Jesus, who is the greatest guide that has lived amongst us. And so let's connect our thoughts at this moment with higher energies, imagining with our spiritual eyes a peaceful place, where we live in harmony, where there is no prejudice, no hatred, just love. The purest love that our Master Jesus came to teach us about. That is the love that our Father and Creator loves us with. Unconditional love, unconditional love. And today, immersed in these greater energies, we ask you, Lord, to help us during this study with inspiration so that we can understand better the studies today, to envelop us all in protection, us who are incarnated and discarnated during this time that we gather together and beyond. So be it. Thank you. Okay, and so we are still studying about Revelations, isn't it? Item 6. Shall I start reading?
Yes, please, Lindalva.
Okay, so we are studying today item 6, which is still part of the revelation, character of the Spiritist revelation. Since we believe in God's solicitude for God's creatures, why not believe that capable spirits, through their energy and the superiority of their knowledge, enable humankind to advance, incarnating at God's will in order to aid progress in a particular area? That they receive a mission much as ambassadors receive one from their sovereign. Such is the role of great geniuses. What do they come to do if not to teach people truths of which they are ignorant, and of which they would perhaps remain ignorant for a long time, in order to give them an impulse by which they may advance more rapidly? These geniuses, appearing down through the centuries like shining stars, leaving behind them a long, luminous trail for humankind, are missionaries, or if you will, messiahs. The new things they teach to humankind whether of a physical or of a philosophical order, are revelations. If God calls forth revelators to make known scientific truths, God can, with all the more reason, call them forth to make known moral truths, which are one of the essential elements of progress. Such are the philosophers whose ideas have traversed the centuries.
Yeah, we're still talking about the revelation, about the spiritism as revelation. And now this item is gonna give he's giving some examples of some spirits that incarnate among us to give us upgrade. So we can imagine all the discovery in the science, like a lamp, a bulb lamp, for example. So yeah, many other things like car engines or medicine, any kind of medicine that, for example, the penicillin. So all those spirits incarnate among us just to give us a revelation. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that the those things didn't exist before. They were just revelate to us. So, but to get this these things have revelate, we need someone to come and shows us how to use or how to produce such kind of a product or equipment. And also the spiritism is the same. So the spiritism uh, exists for lifetime. So before it was revealed by Allan Kardec, there was a phenomena and there was manifestation and communication among uh, between the spiritual world and the material world. But Kardec came and reveled how it works, how is the process, how the things go on between the two worlds. So it's the example why the spiritism is considered a revelation. So this is it's my point of view of this item. So yeah, that's it. That's the way I see this item. Just giving an example of periodic messiahs that come to the earth to teach us something new or to shows us that there are more than we can see. And from that point of from that time on, so we discovered that there are more things that we can use. Yeah, I can imagine we can realize how hard is the life without electricity, for example. And someone came like Tesla and other guys that discovered the uh, the way the electricity can work for us and facilitate our life. And also the spiritism came to facilitate our life also as well. So yeah, we spiritism is a revelation as any other science and philosophy.
I think one of the things that I was thinking about it as well is how we need to be very careful as well with things that are brought to this world, because at the same time that there are a lot of messiahs or apostles or geniuses bringing forth things that are positive, there has been a lot who has brought some um, which they thought also were revelations, but they were very um, they were brought by the called I was thinking about the false prophets, isn't it? So, because there has been a lot of especially in America, isn't it, that we've heard of many people who have founded types of religions with promises, miraculous promises, and in the end they were leading people to harm themselves, and that also we have to be very aware, and that is why Kardec has called us always to use reason, isn't it? Never to follow anything blindly, because a lot of us can fall into very bad traps if we don't reason, if we think that whatever is brought forward or is revealed by people who call themselves whatever they name themselves is the truth. And we need to be very wary of that too, and to always remember to use our reason to put two and two together. Um, and the other thing as well that I was thinking about is that when Kardec, when he codified spiritism, Kardec was very humble about it, isn't it? He never gave himself any credits whatsoever. Uh, but the hard work that he put, um, that he gave, the time that he gave of himself to codify the books, to write these books, to communicate with other people, getting other people to communicate with the spirits, and it was very, very hard work for him. But he never promised heaven to anyone, and neither did the spirits. The spirits don't promise heaven to anyone. And so this is what is one of the things that I've always been very like wary of. Every time someone comes to me offering heaven, I that little light shines. I think something wrong here, because heaven is no one's to be offering like that. So I think it's I mean, you've mentioned some of the things, Andrea, that we can see, like we can use, which is the even technology today. It was revealed to us not very long ago, but it was in the spiritual world already, isn't it? We can see in the film of Andrea Louise that they were already using technology there. So so we do have, there are a lot of things that we can have been revealed to us that we have access to, but I think when it's to do with our spiritual development with God, we need to reason. Need to use our reason, and spiritism invites us to do that, reinforces that we should not follow anything blindly. Anything else? Shall I read more?
Yes, please.
So, number 7. In the special sense of religious faith, revelation applies more particularly to spiritual matters, which humans cannot know by themselves, and which they cannot discover by means of their senses, the understanding of which is given to them by God or God's messengers, whether by direct word or inspiration. In this case, revelation is always given to qualified individuals designated as prophets or messiahs, that is, messengers or missionaries on a mission to transmit revelation to humankind, considered from the point of view, revelation implies complete passivity. It is accepted without question, without examination, without argument.
Yeah, it's related to religions. Applies more particularly to spiritual matter.
Mm.
Yeah. When the people says about revelations, there is a book in the Bible named Revelation. It's yeah, it's more like we we launch our thoughts to something that comes from the spirits, and that sometimes people confuse, as you said, Indalva. Sometimes people confuse the spirit's revelation with the God message, but sometimes it's not. Because not always the spirits come from God, or is not committed to the good. Some peoples are committed to the evil, and then send messages and come as missionary, but not for a for good reasons. That's why we see so many bad religions and bad messiahs and bad missionaries, taking people to religions that hurt themselves and take them to a bad path. So in this case, say revelation is always given to qualified individuals designated as prophet or messiahs. Yeah, we know that prophet and messiahs are mediums also. Yeah, they are not special
Mm.
people. They just have mediumship, and they evolve the mediumship and receive the messages and treat them as a revelation.
But the only one special that we had that was truly a special messenger was Jesus, isn't it? He was an evolved spirit who came to reveal, to bring many revelations to us, isn't it? He came to talk about love, about God's love, about for all of humankind, um, and charity, which is also all the that comes from love and loving one another, isn't it? So, but yes, a lot of those who come, who who bring us some um, spiritual truths that we didn't know. They are people like us who are on the path of evolution and who have been given a mission with a mediumship like the mediumship that we've seen through Chico Xavier, who has received many books from the spirits to add on to the information we already have. And we know Chico, he was a very good medium, but he was also morally, by his actions, he showed us that he was also morally more evolved than I am not as evolved as Chico. So but yes, he was a human being like us, and any of us can have the mission of coming back with with mediumship to help us to evolve if we don't misuse it.
And the mediums and the prophets or messiahs, they are people, they are human beings, and
Mm,
they are keen to fail. So we need to attach ourselves to the content of message and not the where the message came from or the name that sign off the message, because we could be really scammed by some spirits that can give any names. But if the message is not good, so the spirit is not good. So as a medium, we can receive a message from many different spirits around the world and the universe. So in the end of the day, what it's valid is the content of the message and not the name of the spirits that sign off. Spirit can come and say, I'm Jesus, or I'm Gandhi, or I'm Emmanuel. But if the message is not good, we need to start to not believe on that.
Mm.
It's very important for us to understand that in the end of the day, that's why you said Kardec was so humble, because he knew that the spiritism was not his work. It was from Jesus and the spirits. He was just a tool and an interpreter of just a mere worker. We know that he has a lot of skills, and he was a really good man, but in the end of the day, he was just a tool, or a messenger, not the one responsible for the message. So
Mm.
that's why Chico was so humble, and Kardec also as well. He is so humble, because he knew that the whole work was just part of his job here in the earth.
Yes, I think the you mentioned to pay attention at the content of the message, Andre. It it's all to do with the understanding that false prophets are not just incarnated; they are also discarnated, isn't it? So there are spirits, and there are spirits reincarnated who will pretend to be what they are not, because in order to deceive people who are not as who are not paying much attention to these matters, isn't it? Because a lot of us fall into traps from visible people, from incarnated people. Never mind when they are not visible to us, isn't it? It's also very important, as you've said, to pay attention and to reason always. And if it's not good, then it's not coming from a good place.
Yeah, it's good to remind or recap of that Emmanuel said only wolves fall in traps for wolves. So
Mm,
we need to be aware that what we are looking for. So if we are looking for something uh, bad or false, probably we're gonna fall in a trap that's prepared for us. So that's why the Spiritism came and opened our eyes and shows us how to proceed in front of the life, and in front of all the things that God gave us. Because sometimes we are looking for, or we are searching for something that's not important in this life. For example, people that are always looking for money without any limits, this person will be keen, will be really available to the some perhaps some money scam. And this is just an example. If you are looking for emotions or feelings, or fortunes, or if I want to know about the future, probably we're gonna be diverted for some bad meeting that is pretending to show me how is the future and tell me everything that I'm gonna believe. So this is just like fake news, for example.
Mm.
Fake news just exists because I believe in that, and I want to believe that. That's the most important thing. So if I don't want to, if I'm not, let's say, if I'm not following that fake news as from my heart, probably I will disagree and not believe on that. But if it's something I'm creating in my mind, and suddenly someone come and show me something like that, I say this is true. So that's why we need to study every day and open our eyes and, you know, understand how the things is going in, why we are here on the earth, why is the purpose of our incarnation.
I think also the fact, Andrea, that because Christianity, um, sometimes I think that a lot of us want to have an easy life in this world, and I think that a lot of people look for religions or for beliefs that will sort of offer them that easy life, is like is going to tell them if they belong to that belief, or if they sign up or whatever, they are going to go to heaven. But Jesus never told us that life was going to be easy, that evolution was easy, was easy to an easy path. He himself ended up dying on a cross, being crucified, and that was purely to explain to us that there are a lot of hardships that we have to face during our path, in order to evolve, in order to arrive at a place that is going to be more, where we are going to be more enlightened. That is not going to come easy without working, without hard work, um, and practicing all of the teachings he left with us as well. And so I think this is one of the things that is so important to be aware of, is that nothing comes easy. If nothing comes easy in this life, we have to work very hard to get everything that we want to achieve here. Spiritual evolution is the same thing. We also have to work very hard, especially in working hard with to um, to evolve and to rid ourselves from our tendencies that are imperfect tendencies that we still have, and all of that is very hard work. And not to ever to think that anything in life is easy. We always have to be part of the achievement, and that requires hard work. Not just going to church once a week, and not going to a spiritist center once a week or whatever. We need to work. We need to employ ourselves um, into hard work, so that we can rid ourselves of our imperfections, and discipline ourselves, finding new, replacing the tendencies that are not good with good ones. And that is how we are going to sort of evolve, isn't it? Nothing with just doing acts that is not to do with that we don't need to look within, and see, what do I need to work here,
Yeah.
because imperfect spirits don't live in heaven.
Yeah, that happens because we, as a human being, we are lazy by nature, and
Mhm.
we are trying always cutting corners and try to find a easy way to get benefits. And as you said, you know, running out from the hard work, which is not so hard sometimes.
Mm.
But we are always afraid to work at all. For example, just study for some people is just like a torture or being crucified, and it's not. It's sometimes it's a pleasure. We pick up some books, or even today nowadays we have the internet that we can find a lot of information easy from the mobile or the computer or something like that. But people are so lazy, so let's say smart, that they think they know everything, and they don't need to study anymore or learn something new. And in the end of the day, those people will suffer, because you're gonna find someone to offer something very easy, which is not true. As you said, they promise the heaven, they promise the paradise without an effort. So this is something we need to not believe, because it's not. As you said, Jesus gave us the example that was not easy, but will be really rewarded in the end of the mission. But as we said before, we need to be aware that if you are looking for easy way or shortcut, probably you're gonna find someone that is gonna offer something very easy, and that's not true.
Yeah. Okay. Shall I carry on?
Yeah, let's go. Let's start the item.
Okay. Item 8. All religions have had their revelators, and although they were far from having known the truth in its entirety, they had their providential reason for being, because they were appropriate for the time and environment in which they lived, and for the particular character of the peoples to whom they spoke, and compared with whom they were relatively more highly evolved. In spite of errors contained in their doctrines, they nevertheless stirred up people's minds, thereby sowing the seeds of progress that would sprout and grow later on, or will blossom some day under the sun of Christianity. It is therefore erroneous to hurl anathemas at them in the name of orthodoxy, for a day will come in which all such beliefs, so diverse in form, but which actually rest upon the same fundamental principle, God and the immortality of the soul, will merge into a great and vast unity, once reason will have the triumph over prejudice. Unfortunately, religions in all ages have been instruments of domination. The role of prophet has stirred up secondary ambitions, and we have seen multitudes of false revelators of messiahs emerge, who thanks to the prestige of the label, have exploited people's credulity to satisfy their pride, greed, or indolence, finding it more convenient to live at the expense of their victims. The Christian religion itself has not been sheltered from such parasites. In this regard, we ask that serious attention be paid to chapter 21 of the Gospel according to Spiritism. There will be false Christs and false prophets.
As you said before.
I think we are getting ahead of in our comment, and then the information is here, isn't it? What we've been talking about.
Yeah, the beauty of the spiritism is it said there were a lot of religions that was created and revelated by many men before, and none of them it's unuseful. None of them it's not valid. Every religions, every revelations has its own prestige. Says, but because they have some errors or mistakes, it doesn't mean we need to, scrap them,
Mm,
because there will be one day that all of them is coming to the same flag, which is the God's existence and the soul's immortality. And the Kardec and some spirits says in the future, the spiritualism is going to be the base of all of the religions. So, religions, which means most of the religions are going to believe in the soul's immortality and in only one God. So yeah, this is very interesting because he mentioned the Christianity, even with a lot of mistakes and a lot of let's say uh, errors, and but the Christianity came to gather many information together and create this the things that we can see as it is covering. Let's just think about how hard it would be the world without the Christianity,
mm,
because sometimes people make something bad things, but they try to hide just because they are Christians. So if there is no Christianity, they wouldn't just have any moral. Even with the false moral, there is some moral. It's hard to explain, but it's something that came when the humanity was needing to have some guidance, and came uh, actually in the with Christ. The Christianity is something that was invented by one Roman emperor, because Christ never said, I'm creating religion or I'm building a church or something like that. He never left a religion in the earth,
mm,
but in the year 300 after Christ, one Roman emperor uh, get all the information about the Christ and create the Christianity. From that time on, the humanity start to change, because before they didn't have any rules. I mean, moral rules that gave limits to men's kill another man, and you know family ideas, or father that respect children, and or mother or parents that need to create the children's, or believe that God exists, or there is something else outside. So I don't know if I'm clear enough, but the fact is the Christianity brought some limits to the humanity, sometimes misuse it, but it's something that we didn't have before.
yes, I think this word that you have just used, misused it. That's a very important word, because we can misuse everything, isn't it? This is within our free will. that unfortunately we are not using everything that has been given to us that is good for us to be in the good way, in the positive way. And I think here there is so much information and very important information here, because it does sort of um, clarifies that although we are not all in the same path yet, everyone is following the path that is ideal for them, the path they are able to follow, they can understand. And I was here thinking, because it is saying, because he said about because they were appropriate for the time and environment in which they lived, and for the particular character of the peoples to whom they spoke. So every sort of period, isn't it? We have had some sort of religion, I believe, that was appropriate for that time. I was talking, I was like discussing with a friend recently how in the past it was difficult to be a medium. They were literally killed. Um, uh, and so that those dark times have gone, although in some places it's still not acceptable, but in many more places it is acceptable that we can practice our mediumships freely from being scared of being killed or hiding. We can talk about it freely now. And so that shows how times change, and how every time we arrive at a point in which something will be that we are ready to receive. It's like reminds me of the parables, isn't it, when Jesus used to speak a lot of them in words that we were not ready to understand, and he knew time will come when you will understand this better. And so and now we are at a time in which we are more accepting. We are ready to accept a lot more without um, without being scared, and also without ourselves having prejudices, isn't it? And then when he said uh, that they nevertheless stirred up people's minds, thereby sowing the seeds of progress that would sprout and grow later on. So everything has a purpose, isn't it? Nothing happens in nature without a purpose. So this is how we God knows, or is the only one who knows the right time is when is the right time for something new to come. And I was and then he goes on to say, or will blossom someday under the sun of Christianity. And I it reminded me of of that film they have done about the discarnation of Demas. One of the people, the spirits who were there, help like helping, was a priest. Isn't it? He was wearing his I don't know what you call it in English, the what the priests wear, forgot it. Anyway, he so
The
he
habit. I think it's habit.
I
The dress.
yeah, yeah.
That's the
So
habit.
this came straight into my mind, that he was obviously he was wearing what he used to wear in the religion he was practicing in the when he was incarnated, and also because he needs to attend to those who go back to spirits who were following his the same belief, isn't it? So I think this everything is so perfect in the way they are.
Yeah. And doesn't mean that uh, this is the beauty of spiritism,
Mm,
because we never say we have all the truth with us. We
exactly.
just say we have some information about the things. Because, God, if God is just and good, we need to understand that he's going to give us message according to our capacity of
Mm,
understanding. That's why there is different religions in the Western and in Eastern, because people live a different way. So they need some information that they can understand.
yeah.
So it's worthless to bring some knowledge from Eastern and try to apply in the Western, and
Mm,
people will be confused, and sometimes they will not understand. I
yeah.
I, I can I can imagine how hard it is for Indians to understand the Christianity, because they believe in many gods, different ways, and
Mm,
rivers and stuff like that, which not is not a lie. It's something that has a base of truth. And for us to understand the religions that we believe in one God and spirits and something like that, or Jesus or saints, but the message came, as we said before, the most important is the content of the message, not the message itself, not the person that brings the message. For example, if the message they receive over there in a Japanese religion or Arabic or Muslim, if the message is good, that's right, okay, it's perfect. But the message is bad, it's not good. We need to dump, and we need to left aside. But that comes to my mind when we were reading these items is sometimes we have bad people with religions that make mistakes, and not because they did that mistake is the religion is bad or the
yeah.
revelation is bad. So we make mistakes all the time. We are human being, and we can see some priests or mediums or any religion representatives doing
Mm,
something bad. Doesn't mean the religion that is behind him is bad. It's just a person. It's just a representative. So we need to understand that we need to absorb the message and not believe in the messenger. We know that Jesus is a messenger, Shiku is a messenger, Emmanuel is a messenger. But if in some times we receive a bad message from Emmanuel, we need to start to not believing, and we need to scrutinize a little bit more to understand why this message comes from someone that we receive a lot of good messages.
mm,
Probably is not from the same source. So that's why the spiritism came to open our eyes, and not uh, you know uh, putting ourselves in a blind faith. This is very important. We if we are in a fanatism or a blind faith, we need to stop and restart everything.
yeah.
It's like this spiritism updates itself, where I find other religions are stale, where they follow it word by word and it doesn't change. And with messages coming through, we can scrutinize, as you say. So it's always updating. It always keeps on top.
Yeah, the spiritism has a good side, because as we told before, Kardec brought us a lot of information, but never stops. So we got more spirits coming and bringing more and more information, more data, and more spiritists, incarnated spiritists, making questions and disagree of the work. and bring more information. That's why the Spiritism is it's allows us to scrutinize and go deeper. And Kardec said, if in any time, if the Spiritism disagree with the science, stay with the science, because we are not blind faith, and the science is more capable to give us more information than the Spiritism in this case. But we're gonna see every time the Spiritism matching all the information with the science. Sometimes in a different pace. Sometimes the Spiritism is a little bit ahead.
Ahead, yeah.
Sometimes the science is a little bit ahead, but it's always matching the same information. For example, we can see a lot of interplanetary travels today. So the Spiritism 300 years ago was telling us that it's possible there will be life outside the planet. There are different ways of life. So this is, the Spiritism is always matching with the science, sometimes different pace, but in the end of the day, we are matching. We never see, for example, fantasies of as many other religions say, there is a heaven over our head, and we're gonna go to live forever in the lighting. This is not true. That science always say there is nothing.
O fato algumas religiões acreditarem que o corpo material retorna como ele é. A ciência prova que isso não tem condições de acontecer.
It's not possible. Yeah, the body cannot be recreated.
Resurrect.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people believe in resurrection, isn't it? In the same body, exactly. So that was another thing that I have never been able to understand, because
the science doesn't match with that. So.
Yes.
I think they confuse it with bringing a body back to life, but you never bring the spirit back to life because it's always alive.
Yeah.
Yes. I know we are running out of time, but there is just one little bit here that I have to sort of just go through it again, because it's still happening today. What it says, unfortunately, religions in all ages have been instruments of domination. The role of prophet has stirred up secondary ambitions, and we have seen multitudes of false revelators or messiahs emerge. So I think this is so important to pay attention to it, isn't it? As you said, Andre, I'm saying we because we are all spirits. We all make mistakes. We are very prone to fail, and we have to be very, very strong to keep on the right path. And it is the power, isn't it, that some people want to have over others, and that happens everywhere. And but I think that is another thing that in Spiritism is not like that. At least it shouldn't be, because we are actually free. Spiritism free ourselves, just puts everything into our hands. You have free will. You are responsible for your evolution, for your own change. Don't think that someone will come with a magic wand and make you perfect and take you to heaven or to paradise, because it doesn't happen. And as well as to do with material gain, isn't it? So we know money is important, but we need to have, as in spiritism, we all have our own jobs. Spiritism doesn't employ anyone, so we are all volunteers, and think that's sort of is a better way of doing things. So the temptation is not there, isn't it?
Yeah. We are not using the spiritism to dominate or to make money or to make a career.
Yeah.
Nobody has a salary in the spiritism, so
No.
everybody's donating from themselves.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
let's read a book.
Okay, so I have got The Pathway to Truth and Life, Thought and Life, and Our Daily Bread, and the Christian Agenda today, Martha.
Cristiana Agenda.
Christian Agenda.
A gente lê pouco esse, né?
Okay, so I've opened the message that is called In Reality. A tempest frightens. However, it will strengthen our ability to endure it if we know how to receive it. Pain lacerates, but it will perfect our hearts if we seek to profit from its passage. Misunderstanding hurts. Nevertheless, it offers us an excellent opportunity to understand. Struggle disturbs. However, it will be the bearer of invaluable benefits if we accept its contribution. Desperation destroys. In the face of it, however, we find the opportunity to cultivate serenity. Hate obscures. Still, it can unveil a blessed horizon for the revelation of love. Misfortune overwhelms, yet it prepares us to better console others. Shock terrifies, however, within it we can find the blessings of reveal. Trials torment us, nevertheless, without them, learning becomes impossible. An obstacle displeases, but it is the true producer of elevation and capacity.
Yeah, not much time for comments, but I think the faith, it's the yeah. Sometime one day somebody made a definition of faith, and they said the faith is not just belief. Faith is a synchronization between we and the God together. So I thought a lot about this, and because it is when we have faith, it's just like we can capture a Wi-Fi network from God, and we can tune ourselves with those messages, and we can broadcast and transmit our thought and receive from them. Yeah, with faith, everything it's easy. It's easier than without faith.
Yeah, I think one of the things that talks to me here is that in every situation that we go through our lives, there is an opportunity, and so we need to find out what is that there for, what is that here for, what have I got to learn from it, because there is always a lesson to be learned, isn't it? And this is what, to me, it is saying, that I shouldn't just see what I consider to be negative, but to look for the positive that can come out of it.
Yeah, that as you said before, but everything that happens there is a purpose, and just the faith is make us to believe on that.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. On that note, let's pray.
So let's once again tune in with our higher benefactors, with the benefactors that guide us through these studies, and our Master Jesus, who unites us under his love and care, thanking him for this opportunity, for us to be gathered in your name, Lord, to carry on learning, so that when we are ready to practice what we are learning from you, we will evolve quicker. Today, we are still walking baby steps, crawling still, not even walking spiritually. But every day, we have an opportunity to try to walk, to look for the greater things in ourselves, to perfect those, all of that which is not in harmony with goodness, with love, with justice. Justice for all, love for all, so that we can see, Lord, that every day our purpose is here on earth, is to become a better person, is to find a way to love one another, to forgive one another, no matter how much we have been hurt, as you have given us the example of forgiveness, for you knew that the brother that was your follower was going to betray you, and you carried on the path with him. So one day, Lord, we will be like that. We will also bless the brothers, the sisters, who, because they are ignorant, they are still using their energy to cause harm. And so we want at this moment to pray for those who are doing just that, who are using their intelligence, who are using their time, their energy to create things to cause harm to each other, to their brothers, to their sisters, only to when is their time to go back to spirit, they realize the mistake they have done. For we are none of us decide to come to earth, to reincarnate, to cause harm, to be evil. We are all here because we came on a mission to become better people. But as we have been talking about it today, lots of us still fail, some of us greatly, others not so. But it is still, we are all making mistakes. But today, Lord, you are inviting us to recognize those mistakes and try to do better. And every time we fall, that we may not think that that is the end for us, because there is no end. There is only new beginnings and new opportunities, endless opportunities, because Lord God has created us to find happiness. None of us will be lost in suffering and without the opportunities everyone else has to ascend, because we are all deemed to find light, light that one day will shine over all of our world, when we all have decided to give hands, to hold each other's hands. Then our world will be a more peaceful place, everyone will be included, will have a place in each other's hearts, no matter where they come from, because this is what you have taught us, Lord. This is what you have invited us to seek for. And so we pray at this moment for our planet, involving our planet in good vibrations, thanking our motherland for all it has provided to us during many incarnations before, and is still today, providing us with food for that feeds our bodies, and with opportunities for us to find the bread that feed our spirit. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Father, for your eternal love for your children, for your justice that is not just for a few, but for all of us, and for giving us choices so that we ourselves can be in charge of our progress. We thank all of our friends that have supported us today, asking our Master Jesus to bless us during the week that begins today until we meet again. So be it. Amen.